It's another making day, and I was out in the freezer and happened to notice a bag of tomatoes that was starting to show just a little bit of freezer burn. So I thought, let me get those tomatoes out and let's make some chili sauce. And I had all these bags of frozen tomatoes, so I dumped them all in this pot. I'm going to set it on the stove and let it cook down, and then I'll get the skins and the other stuff off, and then we'll see what's what. But the plan is to make chili sauce. This video is brought to you by Aprondiva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. While the tomatoes were cooking down, I thought I'd go ahead and get my fruit washed up. I had some apples, some cherries, some nectarines, and some plums in the fridge, and my husband doesn't usually wash them. He will just wipe them off on his pants. So I thought I'd go ahead and get those washed up while the tomatoes were cooking. The solution I'm using to wash the fruit is 1 part vinegar and 4 parts water, and you can either spray it on or you can pour some of it into a bowl or into the sink and then completely immerse the fruit. Once it's good and clean, you want to make sure you give it a good rinse. Once I took care of the fruit, the tomatoes had simmered long enough that I could put them in a sieve and separate the skin and the seeds from the sauce. That took me a minute to get done, so once I had gotten about 3, maybe 4 quarts of sauce from this rendering, I set that in the fridge to finish up the next day. Spring and summer are busy times for homemakers. For those of us that plant a garden, it's a matter of getting the ground prepared and getting your seeds or seedlings or plantlings out, and then watching over those like little babies. And then in the summer, when things are starting to produce, then you're bringing in the harvest. And if you're not a homemaker that plants your own garden, it is still a time for you to be bringing in the bounty. You can be picking those things up at your local farmer's market or at your local grocery store. For example, Kroger's had strawberries at a really good price, and I want to put some in the freezer because I like to have them for strawberry syrup, for strawberry lemonade, and I also like strawberries in my smoothies. So this is just a really busy time. And when I say for homemakers, remember homemakers, it is our responsibility to be prepared, to make sure that our families have the things that they need to grow, and it's up to you to provide that nourishment. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have help. That doesn't mean that your husband or your partner doesn't participate in that with you. But as the CEO of your home, it is your responsibility to make sure that things are available and then get the help that you need to get that done. So I just got these strawberries yesterday, and I want to get them cleaned, hulled, and sliced and put in the freezer so that I can flash freeze them, so that in an hour or so I can put them in freezer bags. Oh, and I'm going to save my strawberry top so I can make some fruit scrap vinegar. I've got some fruit vinegar wash that I am going to use to clean these up with. I'm going to add a little lemon juice to the water just to cut that vinegar taste. I'm going to let these sit for a couple of minutes and then I'll get them pulled and sliced. Now give these a good rinse. Right now I'm going to get the tops cut off and then I'll come back and hold them. Oh, and by the way, when I picked up the strawberries, I did make a beeline to the manager's specials just to see what meats were on sale. And I found this 1 pound package of Laura's ground beef, 92% lean, 8% fat, marked down to $4.58. So I picked up 2 of those because ground beef has been like really high in price lately. And I also picked up 2 packages of the Eckrich beef smoked sausage. So these will be going into the freezer for use later, but I just wanted to show you that I'm always on the lookout for good bargains, particularly during the month of July, because right now they've got things marked down for grilling season and they're also trying to turn over their stock of stuff. So these were definitely good buys. So I'm gonna let this simmer for about 45 minutes and then I'll add the spices. But full disclosure, last fall when I put those tomatoes into the freezer, I just had more tomatoes than I knew what to do with. I was in a hurry, so I threw them in a freezer bag, frozen. They turned out well. But here's the problem. I decided I had to get them out and get them used up. So I dumped them all in the pot to cook down and all of that. Well, all of the seeds were in the tomatoes. So for the chili sauce recipe, you were supposed to peel, core, and chop the tomatoes. Well, since I couldn't do that, I had all of those seeds in there. And then not just the seeds from one kind of tomatoes, but from all the different kind of tomatoes that were in there. So I had to put the tomato mixture through a food strainer to strain out, well, not a strainer, but through a sieve, so that I could get out the seeds and the skin. And I used one of those presses like you use for applesauce. So it wasn't that difficult, but the 45 minutes that normally would have gone to cooking it down halfway, I've already got to that point because it was cooked down halfway and then I had to get out all the seeds and the skin and all of that. So I got that done yesterday, and now I've got just the sauce in here, and then you've seen me add the onions, the pepper, the sugar, the salt, and I'll be adding the spices probably in about another 25 to 30 minutes, and then let that simmer and then cook down. But as far as reducing by half, I don't know, because I've already got it kind of there already. So it's just a matter of letting the vegetables cook, which are the onions and the peppers, making sure those are cooked through, but it also has got a good flavor and it cooks down to the thickness that I want. I do know it is smelling pretty darn good, and I did sneak a taste, and just the taste of the tomato mixture itself, minus the onions and the peppers, because I didn't get a bite of those. It tastes pretty good, and I love chili sauce. I use it in so many things. So let me go ahead and get things cleaned up, and then I'll get those strawberries out of the freezer, get them packed into a freezer bag, and then we'll see what's what with this. Now that these strawberries are flash frozen, I can put them in a freezer bag. Now I'm going to add some of my ball pickling spices. I need 3 tablespoons of that. One tablespoon of celery seed and 1 tablespoon of mustard seed and a dash or 2 of hot pepper flakes. Now I'm going to make this into a little bag. Now I've got a little spice bag, and this is getting nice and thick, so it's almost where it needs to be. So I'm going to drop this in, and now we'll just let the spices cook through for about another 30 minutes, and then I'll add my vinegar. Now I thought I would try to maximize my time and my resources. So right now I've got the chili sauce simmering, and it's simmering with the spice bag in it. And then it'll come out and I'll put it into jars and put it into the Fresh Tech water bath canner. Well, I decided since that'll already be up and hot once the chili sauce comes out, I might as well go ahead and make the strawberry syrup. Because remember, I cut those strawberries up, put them in the freezer, cut off the tops. But I'm really trying to move to a no-waste kitchen. So I saved my strawberry tops, and I'm going to make a simple strawberry syrup with those. And I can use those to make strawberry lemonade, to make pancake syrup, and different things like that. So let's get that started. I'll add in 3 cups of sugar and 3 cups of water. I'm going to turn it on and let it simmer for a bit. The strawberries are boiling, so I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. And I'll give the chili sauce a stir while I'm at it. I'm going to strain the strawberry tops out and let the syrup separate. Looks a beautiful deep red. I'll let you see what it's looking like right now. Look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? Look how pretty that is. I'll move the fruit tops gently in this little sieve, but I will not press them because I don't want to discolor my syrup. But I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes just to make sure all the juice that can drips out. Now I'm going to get these jars out, and I'm going to get the strawberry syrup into the canner, and then while that's processing, I'll take care of the chili sauce. And I always process 1 extra jar because you never know. And I used my caraway cookware for this because I did not want burnt sugar on the bottom of my pan to be a problem. When I made strawberry jam the other day and I ended up with some burnt sugar on the bottom of the pan that I was using, I'll tell you what, it was more than an ocean getting that out. And I wanted this strawberry syrup to make strawberry lemonade or strawberry pancakes. It said it would make 3, and it made 3. Get some of this foam off the top. Make sure there's no pockets of air in here. Oh, wait. Almost forgot. I always clean the top of my jars with a little vinegar just to make sure there's no mess. So, sorry about that, but I always answer when he calls just in case there's an emergency. Hot, hot, hot. Now let's put these in the water bath. This has been fun, and in case you're wondering why I'm doing so much in one day, my husband is out fishing. That's why I wanted to be sure and take that call in case there was an emergency while he was out. So this is a good day to get some things done. So I'll process those for 10 minutes, and when they come out, I'll be ready to put the chili sauce in. The timer beeps, so I'm going to turn this off and let it cool down for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to take the jars out. Look how beautiful. Such a deep burgundy color. It looks almost purple. I'm going to let that cool, and next I'll take care of the chili sauce. Now let's get these in the water bath. Now these jars of chili sauce we need to process for 20 minutes once it comes back to a boil. So I'm going to let it do that and I'll get everything all cleaned up. And then I'll show you the final product. Now to my young homemakers out there, I really want to encourage you to try jam and jelly making, some simple syrup, and of course some kind of tomato product, tomato sauce, chili sauce, whatever. Because those are foods that you can do water bath canning with. And if you're going to get started in canning, water bath canning is the simplest, the easiest one to start with. If you're making jams and jellies, the worst that can happen is that the jelly doesn't set and you end up with syrup. And when you get ready to use it, you can always juice it up a little bit and do what you need to do to make it usable at that time. And I did not start out with this Ball Fresh Tech water bath canner. I started out with something simple like this. It's just one of, but it's just one of those old, but it's just one of those old enamel pots. It's got a rack inside that you can set your jars on. It's the kind your grandma probably had. My grandma had one like this, my mom had one like this, and this is what I started with. You can find these on Amazon, and I will link it in my Amazon store, but you can find these almost anywhere. And one of the big places to look for canning supplies is hardware stores. Who knew? But they will tend to carry things that canners need for canning, which includes water bath canners in jars and different things like that. And then also I have this little accessory set which I picked up, I don't even know where, but I also link one in my Amazon store, and they're very inexpensive. I believe a set like this is less than $15, and you get the funnel, you get the little plastic thing that you have to zhoosh around the jar to make sure you get all the air out, you get this metal top lifter, you get a little forceps that you can lift the jars out with when they're like empty, and then you get this little thing here that you can lift, that you can put the jars in the canner and that you can take them out once they're filled. This is all very inexpensive, and to get a kit like this with this, you can certainly get it for less than $60, and then you can do some things that your family will absolutely be amazed by. So, okay, let me finish cleaning up. I just had that thought and just wanted to share. See you in a minute. Well, the chili sauce is ready to come out. Okay, so we've got 4 jars of beautifully looking chili sauce. Oh, did you hear that pop? There goes another one. This one popped and that one popped. These 2 have to go. Those 3, oh, this one is popped. So now all 3 of these have popped and we got that one yet to go. I am so excited that I've got all this work done. The 3 little jars of strawberry sauce. Look at that. Isn't it not beautiful? Such a rich red color. Strawberry syrup. Can't wait to make some lemonade. And then the chili sauce. Oh, let me show you something else. So I had this much left over. It would not fit in the jar. So I put this in this jar so when my husband gets home I can have him taste it. But I thought I would taste it for you. This chili sauce is amazing. And I can't wait to make more. Now I made the chili sauce and I made the strawberries with sugar and materials that I bought last year. So the tomatoes were from last year's harvest, and then the sugar was from last year's prep. The jars were from last year's prep. And of course the strawberry tops were from the strawberries I got this season. To see other episodes of Everyday Homemaking, particularly ones where I've been doing some canning, click here. And for more homekeeping and homekeeping inspiration, click here. I'll see you next time.